And hello YouTube. Today we usually do power jack replacements on the laptops. We don't really do USB Type-C jacks here. Well, we do them, but for now we just don't have time for them. But this is a client's motherboard, came from computer shop, which wants us to replace a switch, the power switch on here. That's where they told us the switch is at. Let me show you that there is no switch there right now. As you can see, we don't have any switch, we just have the pads. And the client provided the switch itself. So my job is to solder the switch the best I can. So let me show you. By the way, don't send us just the motherboard without the switch, because I don't really have time to shop around and look for a switch for a motherboard, for a specific motherboard, quite honestly. So, I mean, if you have all the parts, I will replace it, but the way it is right now, no. I mean, I have all the parts for power jacks, all of the power jacks out there that we collected over the last 20 years or so. But when it comes to finding a switch like that, the time it takes me to find the switch is going to be more than if I would replace 10 jacks, you know. So the client found the switch. What I have to do, I have to clean up the motherboard here from all the old solder. And then I have to put this guy on top of it and solder it perfectly. So let's try to get it done. Alright, so here we have the 5 soldering points, that's my understanding. So we're just gonna add some flux. Alright. And then we're just gonna add some solder. Well, maybe we shouldn't even add some solder. Hold on 1 second. I have some solder on my soldering iron. Alright, let's see. Like that. There's the remains of the old connector here. Remains of the old connector there. No remains here. I can't even, yeah. The old connector remains are stuck to this pad. And probably this pad. Alright. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the desoldering braid to try and desolder everything right here. Come on. You see the old pad is right there. Or maybe it's a through. Alright, let's try and get this guy out here. Alright, so we cleaned up all of the pads. Alright. I don't quite understand where exactly this piece is at. Alright. I don't understand what we have going on right there and right there. So let me inspect it a bit more. Alright, so what we have here is that's the backside. And my understanding is that on the backside we got those 2 points right here. And right there. And I was hoping it's going to be much easier. But as you can see, it's not. Alright, so what we want to do is like that. And nothing's happening. For some reason, nothing's happening. You know what, let's add some solder to it and see what's going on. My understanding, this is what's on the back side of the motherboard. So here. Alright, added some solder here. Added some solder right there. What I want to do next is bring a much smaller soldering iron and see if I could get the hole through. Or probably I can't. Nope, the iron isn't small enough to get through the hole. Come on. Nope. Nope. Alright. Let's take a look what we have on the other side. Yeah, you see that's the remains of the old jack. That's probably sitting through. I mean, not the jack, but the power switch. And I don't think it's wanna come out. Alright, let's try and... Where is that? Okay. Alright, let's try and get this guy out of here as well. Let's add some flux. Really, really, really strange. It's right at the surface. That's the problem that's killing me. I was hoping it's going to be much easier project. All right, let me see. Let me see how the switch looks like. How the new switch looks like. By the way, this is what I'm telling you about. You see how the front isn't flush? There are pins sticking out right there. Which... come on. Alright, so... Even though it says on the website, guys, you know, Reddit text us instead of calling us, people still calling us. What I want to do is I want to see if I could move this guy out of there. What was that? Nope, I can't. Yeah, because I look at the switch has the two front legs buried inside of this thing. Shoot. Alright, so hopefully I did take that one out. Because I can't feel it underneath anymore. This one I can't even get a feel for. Nope. Oh, right there. Okay, so this one came out. How about you? How about this guy? I'm not sure if it's there or not, but let's clean those guys up and see if the old piece is still there. So let me switch to this position. . Yeah? Yeah. Good job. Oh, here is the second one. Come out, come out, come out. Yep, come out. Good job. All right, a little bit more flux. All right, let's try and fix those guys here. Now we'll probably need to add some flux. Alrighty. Now that we got the flux in place, come on. The solution here is to use hot air to warm up that spot. The problem with the hot air, all of the nearby components gonna be flying off the motherboard. So we do have, I'm trying to do it as much as possible with the soldering iron, because otherwise, I mean, I could insulate anything here as much as I want, but oh, come on. But things are going to be flying off the motherboard if I'm going to be using the hot air. And I mean, insulate the area around the connector all I want. Maybe like that, maybe like that. Trying to massage this guy out as much as possible, and nothing. Yeah, useless. Okay, how about if we're going to introduce a little bit more flux? Because the solder that we got on that switch right there is the silver-based solder. All right. Alrighty. And the one I'm trying to dilute it with is the leaded base solder. So I'm trying to massage this guy in, and nothing. Alright. Trying to massage this guy in. The smaller tip soldering iron has a much lower wattage output, so that's the reason why it doesn't even wanna bulge. And those guys are negative, so you have to heat up all of the board in turn, so that everything would be disconnected. I mean, you have to warm up the whole area around the negative so that those guys would pick up. Let's see. All right, so what I was able to do, I was able to jam my soldering iron inside of this hole. And I'm just gonna do the same here. All right, so one of the holes seems to be nice and empty. The second hole still has some solder inside. Maybe it's inside on the other side. Let me flip it over and see. Alright, so we got it here. Let's try and add some flux here and try to get this out a bit more. Yeah, I didn't expect it's going to be such a long process because those holes are extremely small. I mean, when I deal with the regular jack, I don't have to deal with holes so small. But in this case, tiny. I mean, you can only see them on the microscope. I didn't even know there's a hole there until I looked at the microscope. Yeah. Come on. All right. Flip it over. See what we have here. And here we got nothing. So now we can try a bit more removal here. And nothing. Yeah, but the hole isn't through. Nope. Nope. Oh, now it's through. All right. Yeah, now it's nice and through. Yeah, I guess I needed to push some solder out of the way. On this end right here. And we're gonna collect the solder right here. Come on. All right, after some twisting and turning, I was able to finally clean up all of the holes so that the new switch will go in just fine. Now let me clean this guy with the alcohol. Just want to make sure that everything is nice and clean before installing. It looks good to me. Yeah, the pads are all prepped for installing. A little bit right here left, but no big deal. Let's see, here we got everything is fine here, nothing is damaged, so that's a good thing. All right. Now let's try and find the by the way, that's how it looks from the other sides, like that. So as you can see, some solder stuck in one of those right legs on the bottom side, but I'm pretty sure that my connector, not the connector, but the switch gonna install there just fine. Hopefully. Yeah, good luck. Unfortunately, I'm no longer 20 years old. And for me, let's try a different angle. Let's try like that. Okay. Now let's... Oh, shit. Alright, let's see if it's sitting properly. Something isn't sitting right here. Should be sitting a bit more. Maybe the rear left leg isn't. Maybe like that. Alright, so what's wrong? Alright, so let me start and solder from this guy, from that side. While it's like that. Okay. Okay. Alright, where is my working tool? Alright. You know what, I'll probably get back to this guy later on. The goal is to solder the sides first, so that the connector won't be rocking back and forth. Right, where is more solder? I need more solder. Alright. Alright. And on this side, alright. Alright. You know what, I need to clean everything up in order for me to see what's going on. Alright, need to solder up those two holes here. Let's reduce the brightness a little bit. Alright. Alright. Alright, good job. Alright, let's clean up this mess at the top. I'm not sure about the rear leg being soldered properly. Now, the reason you don't want to do too much heat application here, because the inside of that plastic switch is plastic and everything could melt, and I don't know where to get that power button. I only have one try here, so. All right, so what we have is the sides are looking the sides are well soldered. The rear right there, I'm not sure. It's just a straight leg down, and I think it might use a little bit more solder. Just to be sure, I don't want the client to send the whole thing back and forth. Like that. Let's bring in the soldering iron and try and... All right, so now that leg is definitely soldered. All right, yeah. Yeah. Good job. Good job, excellent. All right, guys, thanks so much for watching. My understanding that this is done. Again, need to clean up a little bit more. Need to clean up everything here. You see, this leg should be properly sitting there. Let me wiggle it around a little bit. Clean it up first. I mean, it's hard to say if it's a crack or there is no crack in between the soldering point and that rear leg. All right. Hard to say. You know what, it seems like that rear leg is part of this casing. So it's just another ground, that's my understanding, right? Yeah, so it's just another ground. Even though I was thinking it's some sort of a plus. Oh, let's